Do you have questions about real estate contracts, legal jargon, or real estate transactions in general? Welcome to Ask the Attorney. I'm Jeff Hernandez, licensed attorney and realtor with the Connie Cola Group at RETSI, a Forbes Global Properties partner. Every week I'll be answering questions from the perspective of a licensed attorney and a realtor relating to real estate transactions to help you along the way and to hopefully assist you in avoiding potential pitfalls in any real estate deals. Let's take a look at today's question. Okay, today's question of the day is, what are the common mistakes people make with respect to their credit and their secured mortgages when they're going through a divorce? And today I have a special guest, Jennifer Lamp with Radiant Financial Group. She's going to be talking about the 3 common mistakes people make when they're going through a divorce as it affects their credit and as it affects their secured mortgage. Welcome, Jen.
Hello, how are you, Jeff?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Great, I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for coming back on. The last time we talked about what people do when they engage a lender, or what they should be doing, engaging a lender prior to going through mediation when they're in a divorce. Let's talk today about the common mistakes people make with respect to their secured mortgage, their home, and creditworthiness. What are the 3 common mistakes people make? Let's start with the first one. What's the first one you see people make?
Perfect. Well, it's a great question. I think that there's a theme that is around all 3 of the mistakes that I'm going to point out today, and that's making an assumption. So with the first mistake that I see quite often is a homeowner who's going through a divorce just assuming that they'll qualify for a new mortgage. You know, they might already own and they went through the lending process at one point, but they just make an assumption that, hey, now where I'm at today, I'm gonna qualify. And they don't go through the steps needed to guarantee and to make sure that the strategy's in place and everything they need to do to either maintain the property that they're in right now post-divorce, or to purchase a new property post-divorce, that the current guidelines and stuff that they'll qualify. So the most important thing is getting with the lender pre-mediation and making sure that they go through the steps to make sure that they qualify with their income, their assets, their credit, and everything else that's involved, and using that lender to negotiate and help negotiate that process.
Well, give us an example of what can happen if somebody doesn't do that. I mean, if they go through the divorce and they don't take care of these things prior to mediation or getting a final decree, what can happen?
Well, what I've seen a lot of times is I have clients come to me after the divorce is complete. Well, at that time, they've negotiated their income, whether it's alimony or child support. They set up certain time structures and time limits within the divorce. For instance, maybe the wife is going to maintain the property post-divorce, and she's got 12 months to get the husband off of the loan. And that usually is a refinance. So she comes to me and she doesn't realize that there are certain guidelines regarding alimony and child support, how long you need to have received child support and alimony, how long the continuance that you have to have it. And all of that is structured pre-mediation and upfront. And so if you don't know what those guidelines are and you're not talking to a lender to determine, you might not structure that income in a way that we can use it as income when you go to do a loan.
Okay, so the bottom line is get together with somebody like yourself prior to finalizing the divorce so they can map out what they need to utilize in terms of alimony, child support, etc., for future income calculation purposes in order to qualify for a loan. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely. Yes. And then a lot of times, a spouse has been a stay-at-home mom or dad, and they're going to go back to work because now they're divorced. Well, there's time, you usually with most loans, you need to have a 2-year history in the same line of work. Now, there's some ways to get around that, but it really does take talking with someone, creating the strategy, and making sure everything is in line so that you know that you're going to be able to qualify post-divorce.
Okay, very good. What's the second common mistake you see people making in the divorce process?
I would say it relates to making some assumptions with credit. A lot of times people think, I'm going through a divorce, I just need to divide. And once there's a way and a strategy at how you need to separate your credit accounts so that you don't affect your credit negatively. And
give us an example. Tell us what you mean by that.
Yeah. So recently I had a client contact me and she said, after this phone call, I'm going to cancel all my revolving credit cards that I have on my credit that are tied with my husband. And, when you cancel out revolving accounts that have a long history, you're going to see a huge drop in your credit score from that. So, and that was her entire credit profile aside from their joint home and an auto. So when you eliminate 3/4 of the accounts and the trade lines on your credit report, what do you think it's going to do? So getting with a lender, they can help figure out a strategy of whether should the spouse just take one name off of the credit accounts, should you cancel them, or even if you have to cancel them and there's no way around that, what are some ways that we can help fix the credit at the same time? Perhaps it's getting some new credit on there or some other strategies. So really it's just analyzing the situation and figuring out what the next best steps will be.
So best plan of action is to, again, plan. Don't make rash decisions. Don't get emotional about it, and make sure that you're protecting yourself in spite of what's going on around you in order to ensure that you are credit worthy going forward.
Exactly. And just, with divorce, there's a lot of decisions being made about a lot of different aspects of your life. And so building the team is very important. That team might be your divorce attorney or mediator, a lender to help you plan for homeownership eligibility post-divorce, a real estate agent, all the people that are there to help you set the proper foundation so that you're set. Once the divorce is off, you still can move forward.
Okay. What's the third common mistake you see people making when they're in a divorce situation?
Well, really, and I would say this is one of the most common mistakes, and we kind of touched in it at the beginning, was when negotiating income, how to structure that income. It really is important. A lot of people really do assume that if they have alimony, that's enough, the lender can use it. That's not necessarily true. They're in structuring the income so that a lender will be able to use it, take some strategy. And it really is important to determine that up front. Do you want to take alimony or use alimony? Do you want child support? Are there other ways to negotiate assets and income that might benefit you in the long run? Now, ultimately, the divorce attorney is going to help you with that. But as it pertains to guidelines and to purchasing a property, I can help and I can be a resource.
So it's a good idea to bring you in or somebody like yourself in on the team when you're dealing with, and you're in a divorce situation. You've got your lawyer, you've got your lender, your accountant, etc. Everybody works together as a team, and certainly you can provide sage advice about how to move forward and protect their creditworthiness and protect their ability to obtain a loan going forward.
You got it. That's exactly it.
All right. Very good. Well, Jen, thank you very much. I appreciate your time today. As always, you're a valuable resource of information relating to loans, and we look forward to speaking with you again. How can people get in touch with you?
Thank you, Jeff, for having me today. This conversation is important, and I'm glad to be a part of it. If anyone is going through a divorce, considering it, or has a friend or family member, I would love to be a resource. You can contact me at genloans.com, or my number is 623-584-7784.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jen. I appreciate your time. If you have any questions you'd like me to address, drop them in the comments section, and I'll be sure to answer those questions in future videos. Thank you for joining us on Ask the Attorney with Jeff Hernandez. See you next time.